Hi, in today's video we're going to have a look at how to bootstrap our application. We'll write just the initial markup that will get us started. Okay, so here I have an empty project folder and I'll just create an index.html file there to get us up and running. Okay, and inside of that, if you remember, when you're starting a new HTML project, all you have to do is just type the opening bracket sign, doc type, HTML, and then below that I'll just create an HTML tag there, and then in there we'll have a head with a title, and in there let's just say responsive html5 theme development from scratch. Okay, and then last but not the least, let's add a body tag here. Okay, so this is our initial markup. So when we look at this in the browser, which we'll do in a moment, you'll see that there is nothing there. So here we are. I'll just open that quickly in a browser, and as you can see, there is nothing there. Okay, so let's carry on writing. So first, what we need, if you note, let's look at the finished version here. We'll have two parts of this page, actually three, but in this video we'll just be dealing with the first two parts. So we have a header here, which is this section here you see in the gray part, and then we have this main content, which is the list of blog posts and then the sidebar. So we'll write those first two parts. So okay, starting with the header, we'll just use the HTML5 header tag, just say header, and then we'll give it a class of main header. I like doing that, giving it classes, because there can be many headers in your project and you don't want to be referencing them by actually the header tag. So we'll have another div here and we'll give that a class of main content. And if you're not sure what plugin I'm using, if you're using Sublime Text, something called Emmet, that's why I can do something like h2 and then bracket sign a, and when I hit the tab key it just expands that for me automatically. Okay, so if you're wondering, that's what I'm using. Okay, so inside the header here we'll have another div with a class of main logo container. Okay, and that will contain the logo, and in there actually we'll have the logo itself, and it will have a class of main logo. Okay, inside the logo text, for the a tag, let's put there my name, Lamin Sane. And then for the dot sign, so we can target it, let's put it inside a span. I'll just put that here. I'll show you in a moment what that is. That's actually this dot you're seeing at the end of my name here. So that's what we're putting in a span so we can target it inside the logo. Okay, now let's write the navigation. So the nav, we'll just use the HTML5 nav element, and we'll give it a class of main nav. Okay, we'll close that, and inside there we'll have three a tags. So we'll just say a times 3. That also is the Emmet plugin, and just say hash. And the first one will have a text of home, second one will have a text of about, even though we're not going to use these, but just so that we have something to show as the nav elements, we'll just put in some dummy text in there. Okay, all right, so if you notice these elements, there's these nav items here, and then there is this logo here. The logo is floated to the left and the nav element is floated to the right. So even though we can target the main nav element using this class here, and also the logo container using this, and just float left and right, but since floating is a very common thing in many projects, we'll just use utility classes like float left and float right. So instead of actually targeting this element with the main logo container class, we'll just create a utility class called float left. So let's just add that here for now, even though we haven't created a class yet. And also we'll add the same to main nav here, and we'll just say float right. Okay, so that's the dummy or initial HTML. I don't want to say dummy because it's actually useful. That's the initial HTML for the header tag. Now let's go and write the main content here. Okay, All right, so for the main content we have a opening and closing div tag. So let's just do some comments here so we know where we are in our project. I'll just say main content. I'll just copy that and put it at the end here. Make sure getting into practice of doing this, because once your tags get so long you will know where they're starting at. Okay, and the main content will have two sections. That is the main content where we have the list of blog posts, and then we'll have the sidebar. Okay, so let's write the list of blog posts. So we'll say div dot blog posts with a plural, and then after that we'll have another one called aside. That's the aside tag, and it will have a class of secondary content. The reason I didn't put sidebar, well, secondary content, the reason I didn't put sidebar is because we might decide that this will not be on the sidebar, that is just some other content complementing the main content, that is the list of blog posts. Okay, so inside of the blog posts list we'll have a list of blog posts. So one blog post will have the class of blog post without the s, and then it will have an a tag which has a class of blog post main image. So I'll show you what that is in a moment. So this will be the image that you see here, this image here. So it's going to be an a tag, but inside it will have an image in there. So we'll just do img here. Okay, and then after that the main image of the post will have the information of the post, and that's the rest of everything that comes after the image, that is the title, the excerpt, and then the continue reading button. So we'll do that right after here. That will be a div with a class of blog post information. Okay, and in there we'll have an h2 with a class of blog post title, and it will have an a inside of it. So inside the a tag we'll just say, let's say, the title of the post. Okay, so next we just need to have the excerpt after the title. So still inside the blog post information we'll have another p tag there, which will see blog post excerpt. Okay, so in there let's just put some lorem ipsum text in there. So my editor luckily has this feature where when you type lorem and you press tab key, it just creates some lorem ipsum for you. So next let's create the continue reading button, and we'll just say a blog open link. Okay, and it will be linking to single.html, which will be the single page for a single blog post, which we'll write soon. But yeah, let's just continue writing the home page for now, and then inside the text for this will be continue reading. Okay, so next let's go ahead and write a bootstrap for our aside. That's the sidebar, if you want to call it. Right now it is a sidebar, but as I said, it may change in functionality, so we don't want to call it sidebar when it's not sidebar. Okay, so inside the secondary content we'll have widgets. So as I said, I just did this widget thing just in case we want to change it to some WordPress template later, which we may do. So we'll just say sidebar widget, and inside the sidebar widget it has a title, h3, let's say about blogging, or let's just say about Lamin Sane. Okay, and after the header we just have a whole bunch of lorem ipsum again. So I'll just leave it like this. So let's just duplicate that once more. I'll just copy this, paste it here. Okay, so let's do the same for the blog post as well. since we'll have a list of blog posts, let's just copy one blog post and paste it multiple times, so we'll have 3 stuff to look at. Okay, and for the images for the blog post, I already have created some images. So if we look at the folder now of our project, I have 3 images that I prepared. So it's called blog image _1, 2 and 3. So we'll insert those in our HTML. So let's go to the 3 blogs boilerplates that we just pasted in here, and the image tag here we'll say the source / blog image 1. So let's copy that here, go to the second one, paste the same thing there, but we'll change the number 1 to 2. It gives us a different image. We'll go to the third one as well, change the number 1 to 3 this time. Okay, so now let's look at our page inside the browser and see what we have. So when I refresh this page now, we should see some HTML, but it's unstyled. And as you can see, we have the logo, the navigation links here, and we have the blog post here, which is unstyled. Okay, so that's it guys for this tutorial video, and in the next one we're going to look at how to introduce a grid system into our template so we can actually organize stuff much better. So thanks for watching. I will see you soon in another video. Cheers, bye bye.